Going to Blue Valley. I got the name right. Yes.
Yes.
What is happening with Breck and everybody? Not Breck, that's the actress's name. What is happening with Stargirl?
Oh, we have to talk about Cindy. You remember last week the big reveal that Cindy stole the gambler's laptop? So everyone's like,
Cindy.
I
it
still believe her.
did Cindy do that? When she's making it very difficult for people to believe her this week because the first thing she did was hack into it and find information that the gambler was blackmailing someone. And she sent it to one of the members of the JSA to cause some drama. And Beth, who's also called Dr. Midnight, she has goggles that can analyze information. So Cindy sent the information to Beth's goggles, and it started processing the information and revealed that the gambler was in fact blackmailing the Crocks, the neighbors who were trying to turn over a new leaf that get on very well with Courtney's parents. So Stargirl decides that no, we cannot take this information to Starman because he's a loose cannon and he'll go and do the wrong thing and he's consistently causing drama that doesn't need to be caused. And Cindy decides, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to tell Starman. So Cindy tells Starman in the hopes that she'll get his approval, but Starman doesn't like villains. And he's like, you were Dragon King's daughter. I'll never trust you. And you're a 2-bit cheerleader who wears green leather, and then slam the door in her face. So,
Okay.
Cindy was not happy, but Cindy caused a lot of drama. So basically, long story short, guess what Starman did? Yes, he rushed in and caused more drama. The first thing he did when he found out the Crocks were being blackmailed by the gambler was he grabbed the staff and went to the supermarket where they were shopping. And my goodness, the supermarket smackdown we all talked about last week, it was probably one of the best scenes the show has ever produced. The fight choreography was incredible. But the Crocks were trying to say they didn't do it, but the Crocks also love a good fight. So when Starman challenged them, they did not back down. And yeah, my goodness, I've said it before, nobody does fight scenes like Stargirl. It's not like the average superhero show where there's like a fight scene at the end of every episode. It's more of a drama that it makes you wait for them. But when they come, my goodness, they're incredible. And I've already seen this scene going all around the internet with people praising it. A lot of people are like, might need to tune into Stargirl. It looks brilliant. So again, at least if it does more scenes like that, it gets more positive promo. But yeah, back to the show. Starman would not back down. He literally almost killed the Crocks until Courtney's stepfather, Pat, showed up in his giant robot, Stripe, and told Starman to back off. And he did. And then he came back home and started roaring at Pat and said, you used to be my sidekick. How dare you overrule me? And Pat said, basically, Starman, you need to sit down. Courtney sees you as a role model and you can't go off attacking people in the middle of the supermarket. Like, who's going to clean it up? And then Starman discovered that Courtney had once thought that he was actually her father because that was the only explanation as to why the staff would work for her. So then he realized, okay, he needs to be a better role model at this and he should not be doing this.
Is he her father?
He's not. She thought he was because she hit Courtney's father left the same night that the JSA was killed. So Courtney was like, "This is why the staff works for me. Maybe Starman was my father, and that's why he ran out of me."
Starman.
Pardon?
His name is Starman, so I see where she.
Yeah, exactly. But it turns out her father was just a waste of space. Who then showed up years later and took her beloved locket from her to try and sell it.
Wow.
Of course, Pat, Courtney's stepfather, punched him, and that's when Courtney and Pat kind of started connecting because Courtney didn't like him at the start. But Starman then realized that and was like, hold on a minute, I'm not just a hero here, or I'm not even just a washed up hero. I have to be a role model to this girl. So he decided to start being better about it. And then he said to Pat, how can I be Starman again? I don't even have a costume. And Pat was like, you know what? That's a start. And then we'll get back to that. But going to the Crocks, yes, we found out they were being blackmailed by the gambler. They had a reason to kill him. But it turns out because the gambler was trying to start afresh and turn over a new leaf, when he returned to Blue Valley, he returned all of the money to the Crocks that they had been paying him and decided, no more blackmail. I'm not going to do anything mean because the gambler just wanted to find his daughter. So that cleared the Crocks because they were like, we didn't do it. And he actually returned the money to us. And I think what one of the most endearing things about the show is Paula Croc, one of the Crocks, she was formerly the villain Tigress. she is forming quite the bond with Courtney's mother, Barbara. And the two of them ended up baking last week because Paula needed help because she's trying to join the Women's Rotary Club, and one of their tasks was baking. So Barbara helped her bake last week, and as she came into her office this week, it was like, it's a nightmare, Barbara. The baking was such a success. They want me to speak at the Women's Rotary Club. I don't know what the Women's Rotary Club does. And then when Barbara found out that maybe did they kill the gambler, there was a big like moment where the Crocks finally opened up. They were like, no, we didn't kill him because we have our daughter back. We're no longer in prison. We don't want to be villains anymore. We don't want to be imprisoned anymore. So then after that, Barbara showed up to Paula's speech at the Rotary Club to show that she was her friend. And I think that was a real like moment because supervillain Tigress was struggling to speak publicly and she was shaking, and the minute she saw Barbara show up for her, she was able to speak no problem. So I think that's going to be one of the most endearing friendships. Meanwhile, Barbara at work is having problems with her new boss who keeps turning down her proposals. And when Paula found that out, she went and threatened the boss so that he'll stop giving Barbara a hard time. So it's such an unusual, endearing friendship because Paula does not know how to be friends to anyone. So back on now that that's sorted and we know the Crocks did not commit the murder, that rules them off the suspect list. We've already ruled the Shade off. We've already ruled the Crocks off. Now, Cindy owned up to her actions. She told Courtney what she did, but she said that the reason she did it was that she wanted to prove herself to the JSA, and she thought that if she got Starman's approval, the rest of them would approve her as well, which, okay, that's kind of an endearing thing. And Courtney understood that, but said that if she went behind her back again, she'd be off the team, which again is a fair response. And then one of the only other subplot in the episode was Cameron. Remember Icicle Jr., who we talked about last week? He's being set up as Courtney's love interest, but now his powers are starting to manifest. And that's not good because his father was Icicle, the big villain of season 1. But he doesn't know that. He thought his father died a hero. But his powers are starting to manifest in the worst ways. And it's making him angry. It's making him depressed. And he ended up clashing with one of the other members of the JSA, Rick. And the two of them ended up clashing because Cameron was mean to a teacher. Rick told him to back off. So Cameron responded by going out and using his icicles to burst Rick's car tires. And he wouldn't talk to Courtney. And but then in the end, Courtney got through to him. He apologized for being so cold with her. And then the two of them went on a romantic walk together, and as soon as their fingers brushed, he pulled away and was like, nope, can't do this anymore, because he doesn't want to be around her because obviously he can't control his powers.
Is he cold to the touch like Edward Cullen?
No, he's not yet anyway. But that would have been a good reveal. But it's not a spoiler to say that the promo for next week's episode, they're doing an unusual thing with the Stargirl promos in that they're just showing one scene, and it's not like just the one scene from the Dynasty finale promo. They're doing something rather exciting with it, where they're doing like voiceover as well. So like this week's one, for example, it showed the supermarket showdown, and it was like cleanup on aisle 5, on aisle 6, battle on aisle 7, destruction. So they're quite exciting and fun promos. For next week's episode, it actually shows Courtney go to touch Cameron, and he like explodes into it like an explosion of ice. So things are going down between the two of them.
Wait, so the voiceover, is it like a voiceover that's added into the promo?
Yeah, it was like a woman's voiceover saying like,
was it in the episode?
No, not that one. No.
Wow.
The woman's voice was, but they obviously got her to record extra lines that they could use in the promo.
We've never seen them.
Me neither. Yeah, it was quite exciting.
Promos.
I know, it's quite exciting. It's obviously a cheaper one so that they can just focus on the one scene, but using voiceover, that's quite unique, especially for the CW. But yes, this week's promo, it's just voiceover from the episode. It's the actual clips of audio that were in the episode. They're all finding out that things are going wrong with Cameron. Courtney tries to get close to him, and then he explodes into ice in front of her. So I assume she'll find out that he's Icicle Jr. next week. But the big cliffhanger from the episode was Starman learned from his actions. He was like, he can't keep doing this. And he said there must be a clue where the gambler was killed. So he decided to go back to where the gambler was killed. However, because he'd made the agreement with Courtney that they would share the staff and that he would only use the staff when she's at school, he was like, nope, it's nighttime. I'm going to be a better person and I'm not taking the staff with me, which was, let's be honest, probably a very stupid idea. So he showed up to the crime scene. And just as he was doing so, I remember I mentioned in the premiere, somebody's watching all of Blue Valley, the live feed, somebody's watching them all around town. And that's what the gambler discovered when he was killed. And now, just as Starman went back to the trailer where the gambler was killed, we get a shot of somebody watching the cameras that are placed all over town, and you can see their fist clench up and they make like a growling noise. I believe a Starman's heading towards the trailer, and then a Starman's heading towards the trailer. A very beautifully shot, eerie scene where it just shows the back of his head and he turns around slowly and looks up, and something fires him up into the air. So high that it takes him a good few minutes to come back down. He bangs his head off the trailer and he's left in a bloody mess. So you're like,
that's not the cliffhanger I was expecting.
Yeah, is Starman dead? So it's his fate is up in the air. Whatever did it is obviously very, very powerful because it was able to yank Starman up into the air and then drop him. We also know
it's
that
not a person. That's interrupting.
Apparently not. Okay. But we also know it has sharp objects because that's the reason everyone still thinks it's Cindy, because she has shivs on her arm, and that's what stabbed the gambler through the heart. But from what we know so far, whatever killed the gambler could roar, and it was large. And now whatever's attacked Starman could roar, and it was large. So it's going to be an interesting wait next week. I say interesting, I've seen it, but you get the point. I will say next week's episode is one of my favorites. It's not a spoiler to say it focuses more on the Courtney and Cameron subplot than the murder mystery. But of course, as we saw what happened with Starman in the end of the episode, there is still a mystery ongoing. And I think that probably the other thing to take into account is that Cindy is still trying to hack into the gambler's laptop to get more information after her plot to frame the Crocks went wrong.
Cindy, girl.
She's not doing herself any favors.
Wait, so she hasn't beat the allegations yet?
No.
Dang it.
No. So, yes.
Admitted to being chaotic.
I need her to beat the allegations. I'm rooting for her.
So yeah, she got it wrong. She didn't lie. The Crocks absolutely were being blackmailed by the gambler, but she kind of did it to frame them or set them up. But now
they ended up getting exonerated.
Exactly,
right?
It worked out for them in the end because now they can just be neighbors and carry on with their very weird combat centric lives. But Cindy has now, even though she learned her lesson, she only wanted Starman's approval. She did not get it, and she apologized to Courtney for what she did. Her first thing to do was go back to the gambler's laptop, try to hack into it for some more gossip. So I don't know what information she's going after next, but at the end of it,
she knows either.
No, she's just being nosy.
It's just a minor business. But honestly, don't, because it's good television.
Exactly, it's a lot of fun. The gambler's laptop. I know Reed mentioned he's seen Jurassic Park recently. Do you remember the you didn't say the magic word animation when they try to hack into the fella's computer? Yeah. Well, that's the gambler's got one of them. Oh, you've got the wrong password. So Cindy's like shaking the laptop trying to hack back into it to try and release the encrypted files, but no success yet. But basically, she didn't get the main cliffhanger. The main cliffhanger was Starman, but I do think it's trying to tell us that Cindy will continue to be chaotic in the weeks ahead. Even though she's trying to clear her name, she keeps setting herself up for failure.
She needs to stay put. Stop trying to hack. It's not working out.
I want a Cindy spin-off sitcom.
She just keeps making things worse for herself.
Yes, chaos and shenanigans.
But yes, it has been a fun time in Blue Valley, and I can't wait for next week's episode.
On Wednesday,
September 21st at 8 p.m. on the CW.
Yes, watch live, stream afterwards next day.
Exactly.